High King Painite.
There are several issues to discuss today. Most reports bring unfortunate tidings.
Admonition. High King Painite's High Vizier started. The administrator swept his displeased gray gaze over the company he managed. Within the impenetrable castle at Coserai's capital city Athlia, a general council meeting convened between the High King, his staff of mages and viziers, the Archspawn, the representatives from the 12 other kingdoms, and a few additional choice selections, including high-ranking military officers. The large group met within the High King's isolated personal tower to avoid wandering ears from listening in on the discussion. From the other side of the castle, a message came to the High King that was inaudible to the rest of his audience. The ambassador to the Sea Folk has arrived. Painite returned in answer with his thoughts.
I'll be down after the general council meeting.
The High King returned his attention to the interlocutors seated among him. Admonition looked down his pudgy nose to review the agenda.
Internal updates first. Master Tympanum, if you will deliver your assessment.
Tympanum, a newly hired middle-aged architectural mage, hesitated, glancing around his colleagues. For reassurance, the High King furrowed his thick brows inquisitively. Tympanum rolled back the draping sleeves of his robes and gestured to his fellow mages with a large open palm. My fellow architectural mages and I cannot sustain the weight of the castle with our sorcery alone. We are overburdened by the load. Every new mine dug underneath the castle has increased the magic required to support its massive weight. We need additional resources, whether physical reinforcements or magical ones. If left unattended, however, the castle will kill us. The status displeased Painite. Still, he could not risk losing his architectural mages when they were already in short supply across the realm.
Admonition. Ensure Master Tympanum and the other architectural mages have whatever support and supplies they require. Next item. Admonition has not made light of the unfortunate tidings, Painite thought. The meeting has only begun, and the castle is crumbling. Master Crockett had just reassured me of the castle's fortitude not a half rotation ago. Was the High Architectural Mage's assessment incorrect? Master Nimbus, your status report,
Admonition said. The High Weather Mage shook his narrow head. Nothing to report. All is normal. The weather will continue to be temperate during the day, and rain will fall between second and third moonfall every other night. The remaining healing, combative, defensive, alchemic, and transportation mages likewise reported fair tidings. Admonition cleared his throat.
I received word from the prison guards that several members of the Vahantry have been detained and are ready for judgment to be passed upon them. These members are responsible for the burning of houses, the assassination of nobles, the slaughter of hundreds of innocents. If I have time, I'll visit these prisoners,
Painite thought.
The notorious criminal organization has decimated the realm for ages. It's time to placate them. Along with a few other recent additions to the dungeons, one of those comes from Sovane.
Admonition turned to the Sovani representative. Yes, the prisoner in question from Sovane is a priest leading a group of demonists. We fear their group has successfully summoned an archdemon. Dismayed gasps echoed around the chamber. Fully attentive, the High King eyed the Sovani representative. He had sat at this table for over a decade, relaying news of Sovane, and Painite trusted his words. Painite could also read him well. His caving posture signaled his deep uncertainty. Painite's resolution to venture into the dungeons after the meeting strengthened. He sent a follow-on response to his earlier message.
I may be delayed in meeting the Sea Folk's ambassador. Which archdemon?
The High King asked, aloud to the General Council. Based on the corrosive nature of the damage likely to Antrema, we aren't certain how many of them have summoned him to become dark warlocks, or warlasses. Furthermore, we've had Raisaglai attack one of our northern towns. The Sovani representative took a deep breath. They assaulted a spawn. Panicked sensationalism took hold of the attendees. Fists pounded on the table, insults hurled about the Risic race, and shouts cried for action. The Archspawn, Ether, who had initially taken interest in the prospect of Raisaglai, slumped into his chair and pouted like the child he was. Matters of any other spawn beside himself disinterested him. However, everyone else in the room was attentive. Spawn well-being was critical not only to individual citizens, but to the realm overall.
I do not want to be indelicate to our Risic ambassador.
Painite paused to nod to Helan.
However, I must insist that we proceed in such a fashion that borders on the side of wariness. Tanzanite reports one attack.
Painite chose his words carefully. Indeed, your majesty, the representative replied. Another silent message came to the king. The kitchen staff are preparing the evening meal. The gears turned inside the High King's mind, and they did so quickly. Every factor interacted with another. Each variable changed from a tangible thought to a lucid one until he built a solution to fit each piece into its desired location. From the chaos, he crafted an answer.
It may be a rogue group operating outside of the city-states. Still, if they are willing to hunt inside our lands, they could strike again. Between the Risiglai and the Dark Warlocks, I insist all spawn residing in Sovane and the neighboring kingdoms of Wojet and Verdun take shelter in their respective kingdoms' capital cities' castles until the threat has passed.
The representatives from Wojet and Verdun exchanged an irritated glance. Simultaneously, the tension in the Sovani man's long face relaxed. Helan watched Painite, but the Risiglai's expression was otherwise unreadable.
Helan and I will have words later, I'm certain,
Painite thought. The representative from Devor presented next. Unrest continues in Devor. After the most recent tax collection, the people claim the percentages are too high. Protests once murmured are now hollered around markets and other public gathering areas. Devorian citizens no longer shield their words from imperial soldiers, and in some cases they disobey their orders. With his regional forces, Low King Pyro prevents violence from breaking out. However, he supposed he should bring the matter to your attention.
I will speak with the High Financier and review the tax laws. I do not have a response to Pyrope yet.
The representative bowed his head.
Is that all?
The High King asked. Admonition answered.
For the whole of the council, yes. The session is closed. Everyone else is excused except for B1 and myself.
The representatives and mages rushed out. Ether did not fuss about staying this time.
He's probably as curious about the new prisoners as I am,
Painite thought. When the room had cleared for all but the High King, his High Vizier, and the lead general B1, Admonition started the next order of business.
Informants report a rise in the level of violence across the realm. It spans far beyond the large-scale criminal organizations or uprisings in Devor. We have heard tale of violent protests and secretive meetings, some motivated by religious discrepancies, some by taxes, and some by land disputes.
B1's silvery armor reflected the candlelight as he referred to the hanging map of Coserai behind Painite.
Imperial guards in every kingdom have generated reports of this nature for the past few days. Regional soldiers resent imperial ones. Some of these outbreaks are into their second week.
Again, the news displeased Painite. He sat a moment, considering.
Which town was the subject of the Risiglai's attack? Fagori, Your Majesty.
Admonition clasped his corpulent hands in front of him on the table.
An empty, desolate place.
Painite approached the map of his domain.
But it was the birthplace of Basil. Forgive me for asking, but what relevance does that information hold for us?
Admonition asked. Another message came to the king. Of the supplies that arrived yesterday from Hyeri, there were more than initially anticipated. Painite ignored the inconsequential trade report in favor of maintaining his train of thought.
Keep me updated with news concerning the occurrence of additional Risiglai attacks. I want to know as soon as they happen, especially if they occur in Fagori again.
Admonition nodded.
Of course, Your Majesty. I will tell the Sovani representative your instruction without delay. Is that all?
Indeed, Admonition stated. The three rose and departed the council chamber in separate directions. Painite climbed up farther into his tower, while the other two descended toward the lower levels. In his private bedchambers, Painite found his wife and newborn son in a deep sleep. Another mental message reached the High King. Ether's heading toward the dungeon.
As I suspected.
Painite shut the door to his private office behind himself. Once alone, he wrote 12 letters to the low kings and queens of his realm. After rereading each inked word, Painite secured the parchment papers with onyx-colored sealing wax and a stamp of his family's crest, marking an official decree. However, he would not yet send the messages. He had to wait until the proper time. His gaze drifted to the empty chair in the back corner of his office.
Watch closely. You won't want to miss this.